Yo, people, man, Jazz in the building. We got Festify in the building. And I saw this clip. This was the first clip that I saw of Tobi when KSI, or after KSI announced that he's leaving the Sidemen. It was him kind of like explaining the calendar and the schedule. And I watched Festify's last video of basically his first video on the whole situation, explaining certain things. And KSI has recently been going on a lot of different platforms and doing interviews. And one thing that I always said about the Sidemen is that every single time I saw them talk about the boys and any side man talk about the Sidemen, they were always talking about how it's equality and brotherhood, but now I'm seeing multiple clips of KSI going on to podcasts and saying that he's bigger than the boys, which isn't a problem, it's true, but I've just never heard him speak like that before and say that he's bigger than the boys and the biggest than the boys. I've just never heard him voice that before, even though we know it's true. And also the fact that one of the biggest things that stood out is the fact that he said he loves statistics, and I feel like that's where he's going wrong with all of this. He's chasing the stats, and that's never a good thing to do when it comes to the creation of content, because the creativity and the content creation is the most important thing. When you're just chasing stats and that, bruv, your content becomes stale. And we can tell that in all of the eras of KSI, this is probably the main era where people are not really, or KSI's support base is not really taking to his content. No Kizzy in that, bro. And I feel like that is because he's chasing the stats and chasing all of these different milestones and all of that. And number 3, he announced that he was leaving the Sidemen without the acknowledgement of the guys and without a synonymous decision, basically. And that, from those 3 things, him constantly saying that he's bigger than the boys, he's gonna pass the boys, and the fact that he's saying he's just concentrating on the stats, and then also the fact that he announced that he was leaving the Sidemen without the boys really knowing, and that, from those 3 things right there, recipe for disaster. And that, you know what I mean? But let's get into it. Let's see what Tobi has to say. And I feel like spending time with his family was definitely on his list. It might have been at number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5 of his list of why he left the Sidemen, but I do not think it was the number 1 reason type of thing. But let's get
real life, you get a smack in the face from certain men, so just chill out. You lot have heard the news that JJ has left the Sidemen for reasons.
So I said in my last video that more things will come out about KSI recently leaving the Sidemen over the next week, and now properly it's been addressed by Tobi. So let's get into what he said.
For reasons, I would say personal to him, but he actually explained it all to you in the video. But he's left for his own reasons that he's disclosed, and he's made a decision that is right for him. And all the boys, myself included, we've all come to terms with that decision, and we respect it. Obviously, it was a bit of a shock to us when he initially told us that we've come to...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You came to terms with it, but it still wasn't done in the right way, because it was still a shock. So it's like, the fact that you're saying you came to terms with it, but it was still a shock for all the guys, and that is like, did you really, type of thing? You know what I mean? And that's what, because I was like, bro, surely these guys would have, no matter which way they did it, I thought, nah, KSI would have told them that he's going to make this video. But then when I found out that wasn't the case, I was like, rah. It's like certain things are changing within KSI.
In terms of it, we've accepted it. And
man said, oh, KSI would have never done this, man.
Like, we get it. There comes a time in your life as a human where you have to make a decision that is right for you, or you got to end up living with regret. Let me cut the music, sorry. There comes a time in life where you have to make a decision that's right for you, or you end up living with regret. In fact, there's probably multiple times in life where you actually do just have to put yourself first.
Many people would be upset by this decision because obviously they have such a big fan base, but there's stuff like KSI now is in his 30s, doesn't even have children yet. This guy does work of insane hours of all different things.
Nah, bro, shots flipping fired and that, bro. Festify probably didn't even do that on purpose, but raw, full name and that, bro. Age, broski's 30, no kids and that.
Like, doesn't even have children yet. This guy does work of insane hours of all different things he turns up to. At a certain point, like Tobi said, you have got to think for yourself. And this is a mature outlook from Tobi.
But like you said, like I said, myself, the boys, it took us a little bit to kind of process it, as it would, because this is something that we've been doing together for the last 13 years nearly. But yeah, we respect his decision, and we're wishing him all the best, and we're ready to crack on with the rest of us and get things done. Now, I've seen a lot of like negativity towards JJ and members of his team, and first of all, you know what I'm going to say about sending abuse to people. I say this every time and people go, oh, Tobi, you're too soft, rare. Fuck all that. Stop being dickheads, bro.
No. This is like the whole Rakai situation when the Mr. Beast video was going on and that, bro, and people were doing way too much and that, bro. There's a difference between you voicing your opinions, whether you agree or disagree, but sending people death threats, sending people racism isn't about, oh, you're being too soft, bro. Like, KSI has done nothing to deserve racism and death threats. Even his guy Saeed, even if the reasons to why he left, there's no reason that should be getting racism and death threats sent to their flipping accounts and that, bro. So there's a difference between voicing your opinion on whether you agree or disagree with the decision, but then being racist and sending death threats and all that type of stuff. That's a completely different stratosphere, man. Like, I don't know how people don't understand that.
Go, oh, Toby, you're too soft. Rare. Fuck all that. Stop being dickheads, bro. Basically, stop being dickheads. You don't have to abuse people to get your point across. You don't have to send people death threats or racial abuse to get your point across. Stop being a dickhead, bruv.
Because if that's a family member, a mum isn't, obviously there's some mums, but a loving mother, a loving son, a loving father is not sending abuse and hate towards someone that they love or someone that shares the exact same blood as them. You can tell them, yeah, you're doing wrong here, you're doing right here, but you do it in a certain type of way, bro. Like, pattern up, fam.
That's not how life works. And it's easy for people because internet fingers. Real life, you get a smack in the face from certain men, so just chill out.
Obviously, one of the main reasons that KSI is leaving it is to focus on his main channel and his main channel editor mode. The reasons that KSI is leaving
this guy looking though, bro. Not gonna lie, fam. I'm just saying.
Is to focus on his main channel, and his main channel editor mode has been around for years. He's been blamed for him leaving the Sidemen and me getting tons of abuse. He had to put out a tweet and basically say to people he was nothing to do with this decision. This is how far the Sidemen audience can take it, thinking someone's to blame for it.
Crazy.
Now, with the news of JJ's departure from the Sidemen didn't come out the way that I think any of us would have wanted it to. And like we said in the what do you call it, the statement that we put out, it would have been nice if we were able to do some kind of like proper farewell.
Well, that's what I was saying, bro. JJ's such a statistic man now, bro. Like, the hell, you did that in the complete wrong way, fam. A Sidemen video announcing your departure and that, fam, in the right way as well. Would have gone crazy, man. But I talked about it
to actually like commemorate like the end of an era, if you will. But that's just not how the stars align. That's not how things happened, for whatever reasons. And we are where we are. We are where we are. Now, with JJ, I think people need to really understand what he means when he says those things. And you actually need to pause and really think about it to really get where he's coming from. I've seen a lot of people go at him because, and this is not just me like defending him to say, oh, let me defend my friend. That's my boy still. That's my day one still. That's my boy. But this is not just me saying it. This is me just trying to get people to just understand the full picture, because on socials, there's a lot of clips with minimal context and people just run with their narratives. Like, I've seen so much shit online about, reasons for this and reasons for that and who's behind this, blah, 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 blah. Fuck that. People need to really understand what it is like to be in the Sidemen, and you need to understand us as individuals. And I feel like, having watched us so much over the years, you will understand us as individuals. All of you know what JJ is like. The man is aspirational, he's driven, like he has his goals that he wants to hit and the things that he wants to do. Yeah? That's what he's like.
KSI is a little bit of an enigma and hard to relate to, because many people in KSI's shoes would be content. They wouldn't start investing in a football club. They wouldn't still have goals of growing their channel. He's done everything and got all the money he can have. Still, he has these crazy ambitions. And many people, if they're making 100k per month on their own YouTube channel, would have left the Sidemen ages ago just to have a free life and spend it. KSI, when does he even have time to spend this money when he's doing so much things outside of the Sidemen?
Now, if he wasn't like that, he wouldn't be the JJ that we all grew up to know and love. He wouldn't have done all these amazing things that we give him the plaudits for. Do you get me? So just hold that thought in one mind. Hold that thought in your mind there. Just put it to the side. Remember what I said. The next thing you need to understand is the Sidemen calendar. So deep it, there's 7 of us in the Sidemen. to have all 7 of us in any Sidemen shoot means that all 7 of us have to be aligned
this is the clip that I saw
in our calendar. That means if we're going to shoot a video this week, we all have to have the same day free, the same time free, usually, to get it done. The fact that you need to be in sync with 6 other people at any given time to produce content where you're all there means that your life then becomes so regimented around that particular schedule. So when I've seen some people say like, oh, JJ's dropped Sidemen when he could have just dropped this or he could have just dropped that. It's not, they're not equal. They're not the same level.
I can understand that.
They're not the same level. Like 3 days of Sidemen shoot is not the same as 3 days of Britain's Got Talent. Because that 3 days of Sidemen shoot is 3 days that have to be synced with 6 other people's days. Does that make sense? So when you look at it that way, all of our
I feel like the Britain Got Talent though isn't probably the best thingy in it, because at the end of the day, that's not KSI's production. That's like he has to also sync up with the judges and abide by whatever the show needs as well, technically. So that might not be the best example, but I get where it's coming from.
Individual lives will, by proxy, revolve around the Sidemen calendar.
Yeah.
It revolves around the Sidemen calendar, and then you put in everything else around it because the Sidemen calendar is the hardest thing to organize.
Not only has he obviously said stuff about being bigger than a Sidemen on his own channel, obviously there is a little bit of a grudge there for certain things where he wanted to pursue being bigger than Mr. Beast and they weren't backing him. The main thing obviously Tobi is suggesting here as well is that KSI has the opportunity to do whatever he wants, when he wants with his own channel as well because of the calendar issue.
The thing is though, I can understand that though, bro. But I feel like I said, I always knew KSI had aspirations. Like he has legacy tatted on him. That's an important thing to him. But I just feel like the way in which he's going about it and is kind of what's rubbed me the wrong way. So in terms of some of the things that he's been saying, the way he left the Sidemen video and the way he's prioritizing content now as well. Because I feel like before it was the content creation, the creativity, then whatever came after. Now it seems like it's the statistics and all of that. And the creation is what comes after the statistics. You get what I'm trying to say? And it's like he's doing anything and everything to achieve the statistics that he wants to achieve. But it's like he's kind of ruining other things in that. You get what I'm trying to say? Not to say he's ruined his friendship, because no doubt these guys might be in a rocky place or whatever, but no doubt they have a conversation. I don't think they're just going to throw away however many years of friendship just like that or whatever. But I feel like before it was a case of KSI was operating with kind of like a balanced mind and that, bro. But now him changing the statistics or chasing the statistics, and why does that sound so weird when I say it? It's like he's ruining other things within his life. And I feel like ultimately he may not even get to where he wants to get to because of the way in which he's doing it. You know what I mean? If that makes sense.
When JJ said he's had to take a step back from Sidemen to give himself more time for family, right now his life is Sidemen calendar, then family and his goals around that. Him taking a step back from Sidemen is now going to allow him to put family as the core bit of his calendar, and he can build in his goals around that, but he's never ever neglecting family. Now remember I said he's driven. If he doesn't feel like he has a purpose, whether he's with family or not, he's not going to be himself, and I'm sure they're not going to want him to be like that.
Yeah, I feel like every single human being, no matter what level of life you're at, bro, you need a purpose and a dream, fam. No kizzy.
Whether he's with family or not, he's not going to be himself, and I'm sure they're not going to want him to be like that. And I'm not going to want him to be like that, and he's not going to want to be like that. You get me? So the fact that he's now taken a step back from Sidemen, as much as I didn't want that, and I don't think he really wanted that either. I think he struggled with it for a long time, and you know, there was talk of different ways to try and sort things, but in the end he had to make the decision. Yeah, as much as he didn't want that will now allow him to have his family at the center of everything and put in the shoots around things. So if you see him doing like 200 million shoots, just know that he's built that around his family and he has nothing else to devote his time to. And he's going to be his full driven KSI that, you know, we all, like I said, grew up to know and love. And like I said to you lot before, as a human, there are times in your life where you have to do what's good for you.
Mm.
And I can't speak too much for JJ. He's already tried his best to explain to you, and I've tried to put it across from an external perspective looking in, but understand.
But that's the thing though. What he said in the announcement video is one thing, but then also, like Tobi just also said, clips can be misleading. But certain things that I've heard him say within interviews lets me know what his true intentions are. Like he might say this, and this, but then seeing how he's been talking over the past few months, let me know, okay, so that's actually what it is. Not necessarily to say that he's lying to people and that, fam. I genuinely feels like he does believe what he's actually said in those announcement videos. But at the end of the day, bro, your subconscious and that, fam, is kind of what somewhat drives things and that, fam. And like I said, him chasing these statistics is, I feel like, it's what's ruining things, because old KSI may have left Sidemen, but he would have done it in the right way. But because he's chasing these statistics, it made him do it in a way that is kind of foreign and that, fam. Like KSI has never really made a big decision like this, just off the cuff, like this, or just out the blue type of thing, especially a decision as leaving the Sidemen. Like that's a big deal type of thing, you know what I mean?
From an external perspective looking in, but understanding at the same time. Do you know what I'm saying?
This situation obviously makes the most sense for KSI and his personal life, and you have to put that before work sometimes. It's what matters at the end of the day. It just ended up being messy and miscommunication between him and the group on how it happened, and he even spoke nicely about Tobi as well. There's no love lost here.
To Tobi, I mean, everyone calls you the...
Well, he talked nice about all the guys, bro. He talked nice about all the guys. Like I said, I feel like his intentions were probably in the right place. He just went about it the wrong way.
nicest Sideman, and it's because it's true. On and off the camera, you give each and every person respect. And I just love that about you, bro. You know, I always wondered why you hardly ever drank alcohol. So when I decided to stop drinking a few years ago, you were one of the few people that helped me throughout my sober journey. And bro, you helped me in more ways than you'll ever know. I'm so happy to see you really coming out of your shell this year. So bro, just keep it up, man.
It seems in KSI's latest video, he's doing some sort of skit with loads of lookalikes of him, and people are saying he gave up the Sidemen to focus on this, but mainly now he has his own free schedule, not aligned with them. Tobi did give a lot of context that probably many people didn't think about, the schedule issues that they have, especially when KSI does so many things outside of his own brand and also outside of the Sidemen as well, like his football club he owns, the Prime Drink, Baller League, Misfits, etc. But people, well, like his football.
KSI does not have a beard, bro. Like, that's fake. This lookalike is already fake in that, fam. You know what I mean? Like, get this guy out of it. KSI does not have a full beard.
Football club he owns, the Prime Drink, Baller League, Misfits, etc. But people are really actually upset with KSI. Many people saying to boycott him. Just recently, KSI and Mini Minter, as you see on your screen right now, both made a video with the footballer Eze. It's a big feature, both around a similar time, 25 and 26 minute feature. And look, Mini Minters has more views than KSI, 800k, and KSI has 600k.
Not gonna lie, I was gonna react to Mini Minter's version because he had Chazza on there as well, and the way he did it looked I liked his in terms of guess the footballer rather than guess the best lookalike or whatever. So I was going to react to Simon's video, but I was literally going to do all of this. I was going to be a bit messy and compare views and all of that. But I was like, is this the first time this has ever happened, bro? Because football related video, somewhat different, but Eze as a feature and pretty much the same time as well. And that, bro, like Mini Minter dropped his and KSI dropped his, what was it, an hour or less later? Like,
which is pretty wild, and people are commenting saying, let's support the other one. People are really boycotting KSI over there. And it's all because the way it was done. People even commenting here to make sure this video has more views than KSI's. KSI leaving the Sidemen only for Simon to get more views. Poetic justice, really. Now that he's left the group, there is going to be an element of competition, especially pushed by the fans, but KSI has kind of encouraged it by saying, I want to get more views than the Sidemen.
And I'm also gonna get more views than Sidemen.
And he said this openly. Also, I want to get more subscribers.
Yeah, like the fact that he was talking like this, not to say he hasn't said anything like this before in the past or whatever, but I've just never seen it. So it's like his mindset has shifted a little bit still. Mickey, I lie. And is it for better or worse? For me, it's a little bit in a worse direction than that, man. Because there's nothing wrong with being competitive. There's nothing wrong with chasing stats, and you know what I mean? Because like I said, that's a part of the game, bro. Like whether you like it or not, even if you're a creative and you make content and all of that, you have to look at the stats or whatever. I mean, if you want, don't, but it would be a good idea too. But making that the number one thing in that, bro, it never goes right.
Them. So the competitive edge is also
right, especially to build a legacy.
pushed by KSI. The Sidemen seem a lot more chilled out about it.
Yeah, man. What the people them saying? And this one started watching this, then realized I'm not 12 years old and couldn't give a shit. So why did you? This is what I'm saying. I will never understand people that watch a video that they don't like, don't care about, aren't really agreeing with them, or go into the comment section. Big man, leave. And then there's 23 people that even like. Why would you even click on the video anyway? Like you, man, are just bedazzle me, man. You just can't ignore the fact he said he wants to surpass Mr. Beast. That is directly contradictory to wanting more free time. But no, he did anyway. He said a multitude of things with that leaving video, and him wanting to surpass. And actually, did he say that? I feel like he did, but I feel like everyone knew that would be the case anyway. You know what I mean? We already knew that the guy would still be wanting to achieve different goals and reach different milestones, bro. No new info. KSI said all this in the video. I guess Tobi repeats is fine. Now, but Tobi gave a more in-depth video on one of his specific points, though. You know what I mean? But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that, though. It's your boy Jazz, and I'm out having a bit people, man. I'm gone.